Everybody get a cup of coffee. Are you serious? Are you serious? We've had a major earthquake has hit Japan, and the government has now give a mega earthquake warning out and anticipating a mega quake. Their words, not mine. Mega quake. Get some coffee. Calm down. It is really, really good, too. Oh, by the way, are you worried about the future of the U.S. economy? With so many uncertainties in the air, like will Harris be the president, it's natural to fret about the security of your retirement savings. But there's one asset that stands the test of time, and that's gold. That's right, gold, a biblical currency. For centuries, gold has been a hedge against the market volatility, the economic instability. And with gold, if you was to get a gold IRA from Noble Gold Investment, you could harness the power of precious metals to help protect your financial future. By rolling over your existing IRA or 401k into a self-directed gold IRA, you could enjoy the potential for long-term growth and stability. Just go to www.pastorpaulgold.com. That's www.pastorpaulgold.com, or pick up the phone and call them this morning at 877-646-5347. Click on that link below the video and it'll take you right there. Oh, by the way, if you qualify setting this up, they'll give you 10 of these. 10 Donald Trump silver coins, pure silver, 1 ounce each. Each one's 1 ounce, 10 of them. Or you could get this. Maybe you would rather have this. A 10 ounces of pure silver. Okay? American flag bar. Either way, you'll be blessed. Check it out at PastorPaulGold.com. All right. Now, here's what's happening. Japan has just issued a major, the first time, a mega quake warning. They've never done this before. So there was a 7.1 earthquake that hit this morning, and it's been followed by Japan's government releasing and issuing the first ever megaquake warning. In other words, the conditions and the location and the situation that is now setting up for a megaquake. Wow. Japan has issued its first ever megaquake warning about the possibility of this long-feared megaquake, the big one. I mean, as if 9.1 on March 11/11 wasn't big enough. Well, here we go. They fear it again. The powerful 7.1 magnitude earthquake struck off the southern coast, sparking a tsunami advisory, but no immediate reports of any serious damage or injuries, but it's really been too early to know. The earthquake occurred, and as a matter of fact, that's where it hit. So there's the island of Japan, and you can see right at the very southern tip of Japan. It happened about 3:42 a.m. Eastern time, our time. According to the report, 3 people were reported injured already. Japan's chief cabinet secretary said, although he added there has not been, it's too early. There's other reports, but we don't see any blackouts or damage to water or communication systems. It was definitely a powerful shaking, and there is a tsunami advisory still in effect. Seismologists held an emergency meeting to analyze whether this quake had affected the nearby Nankai Trough. That's the source of past devastating earthquakes in history. The meteorological agency ultimately issued a mega quake caution. I repeat, first time ever, a mega quake caution, assessing that the possibility of a very large earthquake was relatively high than usual. But of course, you can't definitely predict it. But it's very high because of where this quake happened at 7.1 and apparently the condition of the plates. We have asked all citizens to carefully check every new information issued by the government and reconfirm their daily earthquake preparedness, and be ready to evacuate immediately in the event of a megaquake, according to the prime minister. Earlier, now this earthquake was 7.1, and it was only 25 kilometers deep. Earlier, the officials issued a tsunami advisory following this morning's earthquake, warning residents to immediately leave the area, the coastal areas, because of a potential tsunami. What? Yeah, I mean, this is getting very serious, guys. Very, very serious. Oh, you can still get your alien tickets also. Just go to our website at paulbegleyprophecy.com or call the main office at 765-414-2230. You can order your Alien Among Us webinar tickets right now and be watching it today. The tsunami waves were up to 1.6 feet, were detected along the southern coast of Japan about a half hour after the earthquake hit. Now, having said that, there still could be more tsunami possible waves because buoys did move significantly in the water. So that makes you wonder, is there a rogue wave flowing through the Pacific Ocean right now, headed in the direction of, Hawaii or somewhere? Having said all that, the police said that there has been some reports of landslides and some traffic lights have stopped working. Some windows are broken and some structures have damage. So guys, it's just too early yet. Now, meanwhile, there has been some concrete walls that have collapsed. A wooden house was damaged. There are people injured, at least 3 in one location. And we also know that 2 others were injured. And an older woman was also taken to the hospital after she fell. Also, there was a female factory worker struck in the back by a falling object. She's also been taken to the hospital. The Nuclear Regulation Authorities said that 12 nuclear reactors are safe, but being monitored. Earthquakes in the area with nuclear power plants have been a major concern ever since that massive 9.1 megaquake hit near the Fukushima nuclear power plant on March 11/11, there near Fukushima. Now, Japan sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire. A line of seismic faults are encircling the Pacific Ocean, and this is one of the world's most earthquake-prone countries. Japan's, back on January 1st, matter of fact, Japan's north-central region had an earthquake that left 240 people dead this year on January 1st. So we're watching very closely. Again, this was a powerful quake, 7.1, with some damage and some injuries, and a 1.6 meter tsunami. But it's still too early to know. We haven't got all the damage assessment done, and including we're still monitoring the nuclear locations, nuclear power plants. All this is taking place. And also, for the first time ever, Japan issues its first megaquake warning. Okay? So they're very concerned about this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to the U.S. Geological Survey right now just to see the latest numbers on that. So that 7.1 earthquake hit. Since then, there was a 4.8 earthquake that hit, and that was an aftershock, followed by a 4.6 aftershock. And we just had a 5.2 aftershock. So things are still shaking, and this is what I'm saying. But that 5.2 was not an aftershock. Excuse me. That one happened in the northern part of Japan, but along the same fault line. So this thing is, and this is why the Japanese government is very concerned, because this was a very strong quake with some injuries and some damage to buildings, and 2 or 3 people hospitalized that we know of right now, and a 1.6 meter tsunami that hit the southern coast. And there's still a tsunami advisory is still in effect. Okay. Now, while this is going on, we all know that Bakersfield, California had a quake a couple days ago and is still shaking. Matter of fact, this morning, to give you an example, there's several small earthquakes have hit Hawaii here in the last couple hours, but we had a 2.7 earthquake in Lamont, California. We had a 2.6 in Grapevine. I remember being in Grapevine. We had a conference there at least once. I was at a conference in Grapevine. I had a really good one. And we've also had a 2.9 earthquake in Grapevine, California. Now, there's also been a couple earthquakes in Toya, Texas, of 2.8 and 2.9. And also in Ackerley, Texas, had a quake of 2.6. But Grapevine, California had another 2.9, a 3.0, a 3.3, a 4.4 in Grapevine, California, a 3.2, a 3.0, a 3.8, all in Grapevine, California. And in Maricopa, California, had a 3.2. Grapevine, another 2.7. Grapevine, another 3.2, 2.9, 3.1, 2.5, all in Grapevine, California. Remember now, Bakersfield already had a 5.2. So Grapevine is just right up the road from Bakersfield, and it's all on that same fault line. So we have multiple, and really it's been hundreds of quakes. I mean, these are the ones that register at least, in a level that you really recognize it. But there's been a lot, hundreds of smaller earthquakes in that Bakersfield all the way to Grapevine, California area. So that area is really shaking and quaking. And at the same time, this 7.1 powerful megaquake has hit in Japan with injuries and damage and a small tsunami, and still under a tsunami warning. But more importantly, maybe than all of that, is Japan, for the first time ever, issues a megaquake warning. A megaquake warning. So in other words, significantly even larger than a 7.1. I mean, we're talking more like an 8 and above. So we're watching this very, very closely, guys. As we said, a lot of aftershocks still going on in the Bakersfield, Grapevine, California area, and still going on in Japan, and really high alert when you have a megaquake warning. Never heard of before. Japan, of all the earthquakes they've had, they've never, ever said that they were going to have a megaquake warning, imminent danger, telling people to stock up on their earthquake preparedness. Now, you remember, you've seen where people have made fun of preppers. Preppers have been criticized, people who prepare for the apocalypse, prepare for catastrophic, cataclysmic, apocalyptic events, maybe even of a biblical nature. But Japan is telling people to prepare, do an earthquake preparedness. And that means get 30 days worth of food. Get 30 days at least of water. That's a lot of water too, by the way. Maybe, be prepared. Get medical supplies in case of damage and danger and injuries, okay? Get plenty batteries and backup batteries for your cell phone and for maybe transistor radios in case communications are knocked out. Look, these people in 2011, and I remember covering it. I remember waking up that morning, early in the morning, and seeing it. and then doing a video on it, covering it right away. It happened on March 11, 2011. It was 3/11/11. The year of 2011 was one of the most prophetic years we've had in this millennium. There was so much. The dead birds, dead fish that fell out of the skies, the dead birds that fell out of the skies, the dead fish, the dead cows, all these strange mass animal killings that year, the water turning blood red in that lake in Texas, and then again, 4 or 5 other locations around the world where water turned blood red. The megaquake in Japan killed 26,000 people. The Arab Spring that started by Barack Obama and in Tunisia, and then Egypt, and then Libya and Yemen, and then the entire massacring civil war, they call it, but it was just another part of the destabilization of the Middle East in Syria, and then the war broadened and Russia moved into Syria. All of this happened in that 2011. There were blood moons. There was one thing after another. So anyway, I covered all that, and that was the year of the 9.1 megaquake that hit Japan. 26,000 people died. Now, the only earthquake that's been worse than that since 3/11/11 was the earthquake that hit in February of 23 that hit Turkey and killed 50,000. 50,000. And that was in 2023, which is another very prophetic year. Because in 2023, we had the earthquake in Turkey that killed 50,000. We had the earthquake in Morocco that killed 3,000. We had the massive landslide and floods that killed 11,000. I'm trying to remember the country. For some reason, it just slipped my mind just then. And we also had the attack on Israel by Hamas on October 7th of 2023, which has caused now this Middle East war that we're now experiencing. It's accelerating and maybe broadening into Ezekiel. I mean, certainly Psalms 83. Morocco was an earthquake, I think, that killed 3,000. But there was another location where a landslide killed 11,000. And just off the top of my head right now, I cannot remember. Okay, somebody might remember, or maybe I have them. Maybe I have it switched around. But it was a terrible year, 2023. But 2011 was a very, very bad year for these mega prophetic events. Okay, and then 2023 was as well. Anyway, we're going to keep an eye on all these things going on. No, it wasn't Lebanon. We're going to keep an eye on all these things going on. It's certainly, we're living in these last days. We're living in these dangerous times. And I want to keep everybody up to speed. Of course, tonight, Mike from around the world will be joining us. It will be very, very, very... Look, we're going to be talking about the water event that happened up there in Alaska with the iceberg, the glacier, the crack in the glacier, but the water, but more importantly, it was the water that was melting from the Arctic cap that was working its way down, and to the point that it overflowed and broke off a little part of the top of this glacier, and water rushing billions of gallons through the Mendenhall River into the valley where Juneau, Alaska was, and damaged hundreds of homes. And it could have been so much worse. Thing is, nobody's seen that one coming. They knew the water was rising, but they just didn't know it was going to raise 16 feet. Just all of a sudden raise 16 feet above the record high, the water. And see, this glacier operated as a natural barrier to hold back the water like a dam. But the water is melting in the Arctic and in the Antarctica. And these water events, and so when Mike said we're going to have water events, coastal flooding and major floodings will take place around the globe And they will happen periodically and in different locations as it starts to break. And so here's your first one, really, but you're going to have a whole lot more. Now, there could be months before we have the second one. It could be weeks before we have a second one. It could be a couple years before you have the second one. But in the next, let's just say, over the next 7-year period of time, you're going to see more of these coastal flooding and water events. And this is an eye-opener in what happened. And this was and Juneau is very lucky, because if that glacier had really given way, there would be no Juneau, Alaska right now, and many other smaller towns along the way. There wouldn't be, okay? So you keep that in mind. You know we got the volcanoes erupting in Iceland. That's very dangerous and has been for the last year and a half. You know we got problems with the super volcanoes under Italy. You know that Yellowstone geyser went off unexpectedly. You know there is different the atmospheric compression on the earth weighing down on our atmosphere, pushing it down, causing the jet stream to be closer to the surface of the earth, creating more dangerous straight line winds and hurricanes and tornadoes and tornadic activity and straight line winds of insane speeds. And then, of course, the wildfires breaking out again up in Northern California, and of course up in the, Oregon and Washington State and Canada and sometimes Idaho, and it may even be burning there. We've had the New Mexico fires and the Texan fires that this year in Texas and in New Mexico. And so all of these things we're watching, and now the hurricane season is starting to ramp up. Matter of fact, there's some stuff going on right now. We're concerned. We're watching again. And as a matter of fact, let me just take a peek at it. In the Atlantic Ocean, there is still a cyclone in the Pacific right now called Amelia, but it's right now a cyclone, but it's off the coast of Mexico, but it's way out there. I mean, it's 1,000 miles off the coast of Mexico. It's just, we don't know where it's going. It's just lingering out there in the Pacific Ocean. But there's more storms. We know North Carolina right now, there's tornadoes in North Carolina this morning. There, Debbie is being a real Debbie Downer, still going on. South Carolina, North Carolina. It's just rain. It's pouring down the rain. There's flooding going on. There's trees falling. There's people being injured. There's flooding. There's tornadic activity breaking out. All that's happening right now. So we continue to watch all of these things happening, realizing we're living in the last days. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. You don't want to miss tonight. Also, two things. One, I'll be back, though, today. But one, I am going to be a guest on Bishop Larry Ragland's broadcast, and that'll be tonight on his channel. And then also, Mike from Around the World is going to join us tonight. So is Troy Anderson, my co-author of the book Revelation 9/11. He'll be joining me tonight. So it's a doubleheader. You got Troy Anderson and Mike from Around the World. We'll be talking about what's going on in the world right now. He co-authored with me Revelation 9/11, but he also has just come out with a brand new book himself that we're going to talk about tonight. So, this is going to be, it's going to be a really good broadcast tonight. We know Mike has got to tell us what's going on. Are you serious? Am I sneezing? Are you serious? Am I sneezing online? The earth can shake, the sky come down, the mountains all fall to the ground, but I will fear none of those things. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Dark waters rise, the thunder pounds, the wheels of war are going round, and all the walls are crumbling. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Hide me underneath your wings. Hide me deep inside your heart. In your refuge, cover me. The world can shake, but Lord, I'm making you my hiding place. The wind will blow, the rain can pour, the deluge break, the tempest roars. But in that storm, my spirit sings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Psalms 91. Psalms 91. Wow! Are you serious? Hide me underneath your wings. Hide me deep inside your heart. In your refuge, cover me. The world can shake, but Lord, I'm making you my hiding place. Now on that day, you call for me. Someday when time no more shall be, and I say, death, where is your sting? Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. This is the Salvation Station. Hide me underneath your wings. Oh, yeah. Hide me deep inside your heart. The promise of Psalms 91. In your refuge, cover me. The world can shake, but Lord, I'm making you my hiding place. Now on that day, you call for me. Someday when time no more shall be, well, I say, death, where is your sting? Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Shelter me, Lord, underneath your wings. Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, that's right. Hey! Yeah! I mean, that's just an amazing song. It really is. Guys, that's Psalms 91. That's what the Lord said. To he that dwelleth in the secret place, to abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Okay? You're under his wings. Okay? You find the protection that we all need from the storms of life. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Certainly things are happening. Pray for the people of Japan. This is the first time ever that government has After a 7.1 earthquake and multiple aftershocks, the government of Japan has issued the first time ever a megaquake warning. Also, they're still under a tsunami advisory. Also, pray one for another for the Middle East. We know Israel is under an absolute stress because Iran is threatening a Holocaust upon them. And the entire world is literally bracing for potentially Ezekiel 38. And they may not know it's Ezekiel 38, but all the countries are in play that are going to attack Israel. It is going to happen. I don't know when, and this could be it. And meanwhile, the Taylor Swift concerts had to be canceled in Austria because of incredible terror threats, where 65,000 people were going to gather for a concert, and another 15,000 were going to be outside the arena watching it on big screens. There was no way to protect all these people. The threat was too real. So you got all this going on in the world. So pray one for another. I'll be back with more right here today. And don't forget tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, a doubleheader. I got Troy Anderson, my co-author of the book Revelation 9/11. He has just come out with a brand new book that is doing extremely well. We'll talk about that tonight. And Mike from around the world will join us. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're running out of time.